Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Football Fridays here on the Gamer Sideline, where sports meet the sticks and the stories get pixel deep. I'm one of your hosts, Mike, aka Lichmax, and with me today we have our guy,
Kinetic.
and that's right, we have Kinetic with us today, as seen by his picture over there, and he just said it. We got a good show planned out for you guys today. We're going to be talking about the Michigan head coach search, why we need one, who are the best candidates, what are the ripple effects from what happened, and also at near the end of the show we're going to go over the CF. We're going to do an overview of the CFP games coming in these next couple of weeks. I guess without further ado, let's get started with something I'm sure a lot of people may already know of, but we're going to touch on it real quick. Why was Sherrone fired? That's a question that some people may have, although I highly doubt it. We've been the topic of conversation for the past couple of days since it happened. But in case you did not know, of course, Sherrone Moore was fired with cause. Now, what that means is there was a purpose behind his firing rather than just show cause. You know what I mean? But he was fired not because of poor performance, not because he didn't stack up as a coach. He was fired probably for having too good of a performance, if you want to go that route with it.
Too soon, bro. Too soon.
But yeah, no, he was fired because he got intertwined.
Let's clean up the language real quick. He was not fired for anything with the show cause. He was fired with cause.
Yep.
Per his contract with the University of Michigan.
Yep. He violated, I think it's called Title IX.
No, it's not Title IX. Bro.
What is it?
It's just a morals clause. It's just a morals clause in his contract.
Section 9. That's what
it's illegal in pretty much every state to have a relationship with a subordinate, and within any major company, including the University of Michigan, like that, you're going to have a morals clause in your contract as well, which means that you're going to get fired for that every time, even if there's no criminal charges from it. In this particular case, there are criminal charges, not from his firing, or not from the act itself, but from what happened afterwards.
Yeah.
Not going to get into all that. If you guys want it, you can.
It's all over. It's all over everything.
What's been going on?
Yeah. So essentially, he got intertwined with one of his staffers, which that came to light due to some. There was an investigation going on, I believe, and then also there was some anonymous tips shot in that caused
that was fake.
What was it?
The anonymous tip, the one that you mentioned to me yesterday, that ended up being a fake post. It's not. Real.
Yeah, that doesn't matter.
Anyways, so the point is this leads us to the second head coaching search at the University of Michigan for the football team in 2 years. It's been going on for 48 hours now. There's been plenty of names that have been bandied about. I did a video yesterday morning on potential candidates over on Kinetic 615, so you can check that out. But we're here to talk about it as well. Let us know in the comments, who you guys want to see as the next head coach at Michigan. Let us know who you prefer, who your preference is. And I believe at some point in this show, we will be putting the link in the chat if anyone wants to jump on and talk about it.
Yep. Real quick though, let's touch on the immediate things going on over at Michigan. Like, what is the interim plan? What is our bowl prep going to look like? I think the interim head coach right now is Biff Poggi, or Poggi, however you say that name. He's leading the team in preparation for our game against Texas. That's, I guess, right now the what's been told to the team is to keep moving with minimal disruption. Keep focused on the next game. Don't worry about what's going on with the head coach. That's getting solved, but just kind of keep your head focused on Texas, I guess, has been the sentiment preached to the team. Do you think that this firing is going to affect our performance in the bowl game?
I don't know. I think just in the sense that it kind of takes a little bit of the focus away from the game itself and onto the coaching search and everything that's going on around it. I think that there's potential where, the players previously would have been completely dialed into the bowl game itself. Now a lot of them are waiting to see who we hire, what the staff's going to be, how they come in and introduce themselves to the roster. So there could be a little bit of a distraction there because of it, but I don't think so, because the bowl game still means a lot to a lot of the players, a lot of the kids that are trying to get playing time, that are trying to see sort of where they sit on the roster to head into the next season, to make up their minds on what they're doing as far as transfer portal, or if they're staying, or with the new class, if they're going to stay locked in with their NLI, or if they're going to look elsewhere. We've already had two players, to my knowledge, I believe it was two, that have been released from their letter of intent. That was Matt Ludwig, tight end, who
Yep.
is since committed to Texas Tech, and then Bear McWhirter, the offensive lineman from Alabama, um, was let out of his letter of intent today. I haven't seen anything from anyone else. I have seen posts from many of the players that they are locked in, that they're waiting to see, what develops from the coaching search, and then I assume that's I expect decisions to be made at that point.
Right. Yeah. And my hope is that this doesn't damage our class too much, although there's a good chance that it probably will. Um, but I still want to try to keep this class together as best as we can, especially coming into this next season. We need as many good recruits as we can get. I guess this brings us into the ripple effects of this
Real,
firing.
real quick before we go into the next topic, I just want to remind everybody, especially with us letting people come up to talk if they want to. We can talk about what's going on around the program, but please choose your words carefully and be respectful. Whether you agree or disagree, or whether you want to bash or defend Sherrone more, you know, keep it respectful, because at the end of the day, he has three daughters that could one day see what's said on this or any other podcast or on
Yep.
social media, and mental health is a thing. So, like, keep it respectful and civil, guys.
Right. Yeah. And but yeah, like the ripple effects surrounding the firing run, where we've seen some of it, like you said, with the two guys we've lost. You think we're gonna lose more guys? I personally hope we don't. I hope we keep the majority of this class together. I don't think we can really afford to lose a lot of the top candidates on our list. But what do you think about the class? You think we're gonna keep it depending on our hire, or you think that we're at risk of losing a lot of the top guys? Specifically, do you think we're at risk of losing Savion Hyder? Because I know that's one name that we do need to keep.
Okay, so I'll say this. I think that with any coaching change, especially right around early National Signing Day, this late in the period, there's always a danger of losing players out of the class. I think that for the vast majority of them, they're, like I said just a minute ago, they're taking a wait and see approach to see who gets hired, and because high school recruiting now is a lot about relationships that are built up with the coaches and with the recruiters over the course of 2 or 3 years prior to their commitment. Many of these players have already existing relationships with a lot of the coaches that are candidates to replace more. So it's really going to depend. It's going to be on a case by case basis with most of the kids. With once they see who's hired, what type of relationship do they have with that guy? How does he present themselves as an introduction? How do they feel? How confident do they feel in the new coach? Specifically with Savion Hyder, I'm not worried. The Savion Hyder is not the type of kid, I think, uh, to really second guess his decision. I think that him and his family were so meticulous and thorough in their evaluations through the recruiting process that once they made their commitment, they committed to the school, not to one guy. He's already shut down rumors of him leaving. There was some post about him decommitting or not wanting his or wanting out of his NLI, and he screenshot it and put a public post where he said something along the lines of just lying, like there people are just making stuff up. It's very similar to when Bryce had to put the thing out last year about when people were posting stuff, and he said, "Y'all just be saying anything on social media." It's the same kind of vibe. So everything I've seen, Savion Hyder is not a concern to leave.
Do you think that we might be at risk of losing some guys post hiring when the 15-day portal opens up? Do you think we have a good shot at keeping Bryce, or do you think he's locked into Michigan, or you think he's going to start looking at other programs depending on the hire?
So I have no direct line to Bryce Underwood or his family or camp. So this is purely speculation based on what I've seen. But a lot of it is second, third hand accounts. I believe, based on what I've seen, that Bryce is comfortable right now. He is waiting to see who we hire. I would say that our chances of keeping him are very good because I've seen reports, again, second, third hand reports,
Yeah.
that he is fine with at least the top three candidates, and I don't think we're going deeper than the top three candidates in the coaching search. I believe that one of them, which I'm sure we'll get into at some point here, is a guaranteed fallback if the other two don't work. And from everything that I've been able to gather, Bryce is comfortable with all three of them.
Yeah, I mean, I like so far today, the like Keegan just pointed out, we haven't really seen much in the realm of actual news going on since yesterday. Like like everything was hitting the fan, and all of that stuff was coming out about Sherrone and everything that went on after post his firing. But I do hope that we retain. I hope we retain all of our talent. I'm sure we're going to lose some guys regardless of who we hire. We could probably hire the best coach in the country. We'd probably.
Well, I will.
I
I will
think.
say this: there is 100%. There are schools that are contacting players. There are schools that have contacted Bryce. Um, I know of some of them. I'm not going to put out there who it is that's contacting them. What schools are contacting who? Um, there are definitely players that are considering the portal, but I think that they're going to see who comes in and who comes in, if he's retaining any of the position coaches. Because here's the thing: we all focus as fans on the head coach and the coordinators. I think something that is sort of not talked about a lot is that for the players, generally them transferring or decommitting or whatever do with the position coaches and the assistant coaches that they build relationships with
Yeah.
more than the head coach and the coordinator. So I think a lot of it's going to be who do we bring in? Who does he bring with him? Who on the current staff, if anybody, does he retain? I think that's going to have a big effect on like who stays and who goes.
I think regardless of who we bring in, I'm really banking on that that we'll get new OCDC, because I do not like our I do not I'm not sold on Chip. I am of the opinion that we should give him another year, but I'm not sold on Chip. I'm well renowned for not being sold on Wink at all. Like, I'm not a huge fan of Wink whatsoever. Just because mainly last season's performance, and the only thing good he did last season was he stopped Ohio State. That's what he did last year. This season, that Oklahoma game was embarrassing for him. The Oklahoma game was an embarrassment for him, in my opinion. It really showed me that to me it seems like he didn't even know what he was doing right there. But he has had a couple bad games throughout the season, and I'm just not sold on Wink. I don't think we should give him another season. I think we should replace him. That's just where I'm at. Regardless of who we bring in, I hope they replace Wink.
Yeah, and I disagree with you very much on Wink. Wink is a great defensive coordinator. Statistically, he's still one of the best defensive coordinators in the country. Every coordinator, every coach is going to have bad games. When you have a very young team, your bad games are often going to be against your best opponents. It happens. I think that me personally, if I'm looking to see who when we bring a coach in, the coaches I'm looking to see that potentially could get retained. I think there's a chance that Tony Alford gets retained. I personally don't, as much as I ideally would like to see Chip get a chance to really run his offense without Sherrone Moore sort of putting a muzzle on him. I don't think that that's likely, especially depend like if we get one of the guys that I think we're going to get, I think they're going to bring their own offensive coordinator, offensive scheme. But then again, Chip has a great relationship with Bryce, so I don't know, but I would look to, do they keep Tony Alford on the defensive side? Do they keep Wink, Lamar Morgan, Lou Esposito, the recently hired Kerry Coombs? I would like to see them at least be looked at to retain. Beyond that, I think there's some important staffers um, and analysts with the team that I would like to see retained. But again, it's going to depend on the coach. So
Yep.
we'll see what happens with that.
Speaking of the coach, I guess let's hit the meat and potatoes of the show today. Possible replacements for the head coach. I got a list here. We got the names that are mentioned most often. The top of that list is Kalen DeBoer, which I think that's been thrown out as recently. Right. So down the list, I don't think this is a realistic one, especially with like how he's been kind of flirting with how he's been mentioned as a potential head coach in the NFL. But Jesse Minter has been mentioned a lot. His name's been thrown all around, and a lot of people say he can't come back until April. That's false. He actually can come back after December 15th.
December 15th is when his show cause is
Yep.
officially over. Here's the thing. I know everyone loves Jesse Minter. I would love Jesse Minter to come back to Michigan. But people need to stop ignoring the fact that Jesse Minter started in the NFL. He came to college to get coordinator experience. He did his year or two, I forget, at I think it was 1 year at Vanderbilt. Then
Yep.
came to Michigan for 2 years. Prior to the 2023 season, he was very open with the team that he wanted to look to go back to the NFL after the 2023 season, win or lose. He's been in the NFL now for 2 years, took over one of the worst defenses from 2023 with the Chargers, has turned it into a top 5 defense in the NFL both years, and is currently at the top of every open head coaching position in the NFL. He's at the top of those lists. Whether or not he gets a head coach job in the NFL right now, he's on track to be at some point the next Ben Johnson on the defensive side to get a head coaching job in the NFL. I don't think Jesse Minter wants to come back to college. I think he's an NFL guy, and with his current success, there's no reason to think that he would come back to college. And much the same with Mike Macdonald. Mike Macdonald's already the head coach at the Seattle Seahawks. They're one of the better teams in the league this year. His defense is stellar. I don't see him coming back to college. So, as much as we would like that as Michigan fans, let's set that to the side, guys. It's not going to happen. Let's
The way
also
that I
set to the
look at
side
it
that Tom
is
Brady's
like,
not coming back to Michigan to coach. He's 48 years old. He's never shown any inclination to be a coach. And to be honest, Tom Brady, I think, serves the team better as a potential mentor for guys like Bryce Underwood that he can do without being on the staff.
right. When it comes to
Also,
Jesse Minter, the way that I look at it is like, if we really, really want Jesse Minter to come back to Michigan, which I don't think he wants to, but hand him a blank check. Hand him a blank check. That's the best way to get him, I think.
yeah,
But I don't think.
different,
But
though,
I think
because,
you're
like,
right. I don't think he wants to come back. I don't think he wants to come back to college. I think because his name is being thrown his name has been thrown in the hat for the open head coaching jobs. I don't think he's going to want to come head coach back at college unless for whatever reason he doesn't get a good shake in the NFL, which doesn't look like that's going to happen because he's got too much name rec there for potential head coaching positions. But that aside, outside of the NFL, we got names like Jed Fish being thrown around. That's been a real possibility. I think, honestly, I think he would be a good backup. A good backup option for us. I don't think he should be our main target, in my opinion, Jed Fish. But definitely don't want to see this next guy whose name has been thrown around, Brian Kelly. He was offered like what,
Yeah, let's
2024 he
stop
was
with the Brian
offered.
Kelly stuff, guys.
Yeah, he and Michigan said no. So I don't think we have to worry about Brian Kelly coming. I don't want Brian
He was
Kelly.
very vocal that he wanted the job, or not very vocal. His people reached out wanting the job in 2024, and it wasn't available. Michigan said no. We're not going to say yes now following his
Yeah,
firing from LSU. Nobody around Michigan wants Kelly. Let's just
right.
leave that alone.
Uh Glenn Schumann has also been mentioned.
Yeah, Schumann is the defensive coordinator, I believe, for the Georgia Bulldogs.
Yep.
He's a longtime, really good defensive coordinator, and just a good position coach. It's kind of surprising he has not been a head coach at this yet, which brings sort of it into question: does he even want to be a head coach? Some guys don't.
Right.
Some
It's a
guys are
lot of
just
pressure.
better as coordinators. They know they're better as coordinators, and they don't want to leave that area of specialization. So Schumann, I think, would be a good candidate, but I don't think that he's really on the radar, and I don't think that I've not seen any indication that he even wants to be a head coach.
Bryant Haynes has also been mentioned in the same field with these other guys. I think he's the current Indiana defensive coordinator.
Yeah, he
I
is. I don't know a whole lot about him, but he's a good DC.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think we
But here's the thing.
necessarily need a defensive mind. Well, actually, never mind. We do need a defensive minded head coach because we need someone to teach Wink how to put out a
No,
QB spy.
Wink can put on a master class for anybody that we bring in.
Yeah,
But
except for when you come across a running
anyways,
quarterback,
so
when you need
like
a quarterback to spy, and he doesn't
you hold that
know where that
against him
is.
way too much. Anyways, we're not going to hire another coordinator that doesn't have head coaching experience. I do think Schumann might be the exception to that rule, but following Sherrone Moore, the last thing we're going to do is hire another first-time head coach that's only been a coordinator.
So
So Haynes, Bryant Haynes, guys like Joe Sloan, Joe Brady, those guys. I mean, it could come out of left field, but I just don't see Michigan going that route following Sherrone Moore.
So let's go with let's go down to the list of force them to say no that's been mentioned. The top one on the force them to say no is the head coach from Vanderbilt, Clark Lee.
Okay, wait a minute. That's not. Hold on. I don't know which list you're looking at. Throw it out. If you were putting them in a category of make them say no, I don't think that's.
Well,
I don't think that's Clark Lee. Listen, I like Clark Lee. He's on my short list.
Yeah.
The make them say no guys are going to be
Marcus
Dan
Freeman,
Lanning.
Dan Lanning, Kurt
Right,
Signetti,
right.
which I don't think Kurt Signetti would be a good.
Kurt Signetti
But
is not
still,
fit for Michigan. Dan
I mean,
Lanning,
if we need him,
Marcus
we need him.
Freeman, Kirby Smart, maybe Steve Sarkisian, those proven high-profile head coaches that would be a good fit for Michigan if they were to take it. You call them, you make them say no. Potentially, there's a couple other people on that list, maybe in the NFL ranks, but
so real quick,
but listen, Clark Lee is a good head coaching candidate, and I do have him in my top 5. But he's not your first call.
I mean, honestly, I think the more apt one. I don't think Brian Griese would be a good head coach. I think he'd be a good position or coordinator. I wouldn't see him as a head coach candidate.
Yeah, Brian Griese, to this point, to the best of my knowledge, has not been a coordinator, a play caller, or a head coach. He has been a quarterbacks coach, which, hey, he played quarterback at Michigan and in the NFL. Let him,
Right.
and he was a quarterbacks coach for 49ers, 100%. He could be the QB coach. I wouldn't even hate him to come in as like a OC,
Right.
but not as a head coach. Again,
Yeah,
we need somebody with a track record of head coaching experience.
And to talk about that, that was actually the one I was just about to get to. That's been one name that's been thrown around a lot lately, like with a lot of the players and a lot of the news outlets have been talking about Kenny Dillingham, the Arizona State head coach. I think he's a realistic possibility we could see at Michigan.
Yeah. So here's what I'll say. If you gave me a magic wand and I could pick any potential coach to come to Michigan, I'd make Dan Lanning the head coach. But if you want to know the realistic options, I think it's really four guys. I think it's Kalen DeBoer, Kenny Dillingham. I think they are 1 and 2, and they're at the top of the list. And there is a little bit of separation between them and the rest of the field. Kalen DeBoer was the front runner immediately. He's got the bigger, higher profile name.
Yep.
He's the Alabama head coach. There was a lot of smoke around the 2024 hire of Sherrone Moore, where had Jim Harbaugh made his decision immediately following the national championship game instead of taking another 2 to 3 weeks to decide, we may have had to make a decision at that point between DeBoer and Sherrone Moore. But unfortunately, we didn't have that option because he was already Alabama's head coach by the time that Jim Harbaugh decided he was going to leave. But it was very public that Kalen DeBoer wanted to come to Michigan. He was interested in the job. I think a lot of people forget DeBoer before he was at Indiana. He was an assistant coach at Eastern Michigan.
Yep.
He's been in the Michigan area. He's been around the Michigan schools, and he has family that lives in the area. He has ties to the area, so there was a lot of smoke with DeBoer. And honestly, I think if Alabama was not in the playoffs right now, he would probably be the favorite.
I mean, I think they're going to be first round out anyway, so I think he could still be the favorite. But, yeah. What would you say would be the two bottom ones? I know the very bottom of my list would be Jedd Fisch.
Okay. My personal opinion of the coaches, I really like Clark Lee. I think what he's doing at Vanderbilt is incredible, and he just got a 5-star quarterback recruit to flip from Georgia to Vanderbilt. And having lived in Nashville for many years, seeing him be able to do what he's done with Vanderbilt is really, really good. The thing is, though, because the 4 names for me, you got Kalen DeBoer and Kenny Dillingham, and then you've got Clark Lee and Jedd Fisch. I don't think it's going past those 4.
Yeah.
Honestly, as much as I like Clark Lee, I don't think it's going past Jedd Fisch. Because I do sort of see Jedd Fisch and Clark Lee on the same level, but because Jedd Fisch is a former Michigan quarterbacks coach under Jim Harbaugh, he wants to coach Michigan. He's had as much, if not more, success than Clark Lee at first at Arizona, now at Washington. He's a developer of talent, specifically quarterback. And I just think that if we offer him the job, he takes it without a second thought. So he is the floor, which is a good floor.
Right.
So as much as I like Clark Lee, I don't think it's gonna make it to him.
I wouldn't even put
Reese to that
on the
second level. I think Fisch is the guy.
Yeah, I wouldn't even put Reese on the board at all.
Yeah, Reese is bottom, but again, I don't think we're even considering. I don't think we're even fully considering offensive coordinators that haven't had head coaching.
Right, and Clark Lee, I don't think the buyout would be a problem for Michigan. We got that money.
Yes and no. I don't think the buyout's a problem because Michigan can pay whatever buyout they want if they want a guy bad enough.
I just don't know if he's worth the buyout, though.
Well, hold on a second. Vanderbilt is every bit as wealthy as Michigan. They have every bit the donors that Michigan does. They have been in the laughingstock of the SEC forever. And now they are finally being looked at as a potential top program. And with their NIL resources and Clark Lee and with what he's done with Diego Pavi and Eli Stowers there, there is talk that they are never going to stop being a potential SEC power. So I would say if we really did go hard after Clark Lee, it may result in a bit of a bidding war between Michigan and Vanderbilt, because I don't think that Vanderbilt is going to let him walk easily.
And I don't think ASU has Michigan money. Like they are a decently wealthy school, but they don't have Michigan money.
Arizona State, and listen, I personally like Arizona State quite a bit. It's been well publicized, and you look at every single Kenny Dillingham interview, and he's talking about trying to do everything he can to drum up every dime he can for NIL, even going to local businesses personally to try to get donors from local businesses. ASU does not have the resources that Michigan has.
Thank you for subscribing there, CCUF.
Appreciate the subscription, man.
Welcome to the sideline, bud. But yeah, I don't think Kalen has a hefty buyout over at Alabama. I think he's on his way.
So I've seen a couple different numbers thrown out. I've seen as high as like 15, 20 million. I don't think that's true.
I think it was like 12 million.
The one that I've seen the most consistently that I believe to be true is that it's a $4 to $5 million buyout. But I have not. I don't want to say I haven't seen that from credible sources. I have seen that from credible sources, which is why I believe it to be $4 or $5 million. I don't think anything shy of $20 million is going to take somebody that Michigan wants off the table.
Right. Now let's talk about.
I think Jed Fish, for example, has a $10 million buyout.
And
again, I don't think Michigan's going to even balk at that. If we somehow miss on DeBoer or Dillingham, I think that Jed Fish is. I don't think the $10 million buyout is going to stop us, and I think he accepts it in a heartbeat.
Absolutely. Now let's talk about like dream hires, like who we would like to see, like from the coaches who've talked about it out of the NFL and who might also be available right now. Like for me, my top pick coming out of the NFL, who has talked about wanting to coach at the be a head coach at the college level. Though I think he wanted to do it for Penn State, but regardless, I think we offer him a bag. He takes it. Mike Tomlin, I'd like to see him at Michigan. I think he would do fantastic at Michigan. He's got the right kind of headspace for Michigan. He's taken a Steelers team that's been mediocre year in, year out and kept them in the conversation each year. To their detriment, honestly, but still keeping them in the conversation regardless. So like my pick would have to be Mike Tomlin from the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah, so that's a little bit of a homer pick from you. That's okay. I'm going to make a homer pick as well. Now, I want to be clear, guys. We don't think any of these guys are getting hired.
Yeah. No, I think if they offer Tomlin, he'd take it, but I don't think he's actually. I don't think
we're talking about potential like out of left field guys from the NFL. I do think that it's going to be DeBoer, Dillingham, or at worst Fish. But I did say give out a couple potential alternatives from the NFL in the video I did yesterday on Kinetic 615 channel. And I'll go over those quickly here. So Mike Tomlin definitely was on the list for that. So I put these guys in a category where if you're looking for immediate stability and credibility to keep the team together and to sort of shift the culture and right the ship in order to pass it off to the next guy, instead of looking for the next 10-year head coach, which was what we'd get in Kalen DeBoer or Kenny Dillingham or Jed Fish or Clark Lee. Instead of going that route, you go for a 3 to 5 year contract with someone from the NFL, because in a lot of cases in the NFL, you often are better off as a head coach that if you move on from your last job, step away from the NFL for a few years, go back, your demand gets higher, and generally you get better situations. So I put in a few options. Again, I left out Minner and McDonald. We already touched on them. For the obvious reasons. So Mike Tomlin is one of them. he's been at the head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers. I want to say it's been 18 seasons, and
Yeah.
he never missed the playoffs until the 2024 season. He's got
Yeah.
a winning record. He would bring instant credibility and name recognition, and it would be a good culture shift. He definitely would be the an authority figure that would be respected by the team in the locker room. So I think that Tomlin would be a home run. And in his case, I think that him taking a few years off from the NFL and then uh, waiting for the right job would be better for him as an NFL head coach compared to going to somewhere like the Titans immediately following his exit from
Yeah.
Pittsburgh.
Yeah,
Um,
Dion. Yeah,
and
we know Tomlin's not coming. We think it's going to be one of the four we mentioned previously. We're just talking about if we could go after anybody. These are our picks
right.
for who we would like to see Michigan go after.
my
They're
my
not realistic picks.
My question with Tomlin is, does he want to coach in college and can he recruit? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean he has talked about wanting to coach in college, but I think it was just for Penn State.
One of the other names that I brought up, and this is the least likely, plus it's probably the one I like the least, but I did bring him up as an option specifically for QB development because Bryce Underwood is the centerpiece of our team. Brian Daboll, recently fired from the New York Giants, currently does not have a job, so we could talk to him immediately.
Yeah.
The biggest hang up there, and I know you would like this, I would not, is that he had a very public falling out with Wink at the Giants prior to Wink coming to Michigan.
Yeah.
So if we brought in Daboll, we would lose Wink.
Which is good for us.
But I don't think Daboll is an option. John Harbaugh would be an option because there is talk of him leaving the Ravens, but he's not coming to Michigan at least as long as Ward Manuel is the AD. So if the board were to fire Ward Manuel right now, maybe, but outside of that, no.
Which I mean, if we were realistically looking at John Harbaugh, I would honestly expect the board to just fire Ward right now because he would be much better over. Like if that's the only thing keeping John from coming to the Michigan, then I'm all right with us giving Ward the boot. Like I'm perfectly fine with that. Jim would be a fantastic head coach for us. He's in the Harbaugh legacy. He's got that name rec, that Harbaugh name rec. He'd be fantastic here in Michigan, especially with the fact that he would be following the footsteps of the former Harbaughs that coached at Michigan. Yeah. I think that would be my number two for sure. I mean, obviously, I'm a huge fan of the Steelers along with the Lions, but I think if I had to pick one that would be more realistic, I think John would be more realistic over Tomlin, honestly. But that's only if they fire Ward. Like if we heard that Ward was fired tomorrow, we know John's coming.
Well, no, I wouldn't say that we would know he's coming because there's a talk that Ward Manuel might be fired, although now I don't think that that's likely until at least after spring camp.
All right.
But so we'll touch on Ward a little bit later. But just to reiterate in the comments, guys, I do think it's going to be Kenny Dillingham or Kalen DeBoer. We're just talking about potential out of left field what ifs. The two other NFL guys that I brought up on my video yesterday, and here's the homer pick for me, being a Minnesota Vikings fan, as you can tell from my background here. Shout out to Lich Max for making that for me. Brian Flores, very similar defensive system to the Wink Martindale, Jesse Minter, Mike McDonald system that we've been using. Think of it as a hybrid of Wink's amoeba defense with Bill Belichick's defensive philosophy. Very blitz heavy, but also very exotic in the coverage packages. John Gruden's not coming here. I'll give my thoughts on Gruden in a second, but Flores I think would be a good option for this reason. He is looked at every season and talked about as he should get head coaching looks in the NFL, but because he is currently actively suing the NFL for a discrimination lawsuit, he will not get a head coaching job in the NFL while that's going on. So it could make sense for him to step away from the NFL head coach at the college level for 3 to 5 years. And he would very much be that disciplinarian authority type figure that a lot of college kids really respond to. And then the other one, and this was kind of a left field type one, but hey, I've seen plenty of chatter this year about potential exit out of Tampa Bay from Todd Bowles. Todd Bowles' son is on the team. Troy
Yeah.
Bowles is on the team. Todd would get to coach his son, and he would bring in an immediate culture shift and credibility as a head coach with extensive resume, including a Super Bowl ring. So those are the four like NFL what if or five NFL what ifs. But again, guys, I do think that it is Kalen DeBoer, Kenny Dillingham, and if we miss on both of them, Jed Fish. The thing with Dillingham, so I do think DeBoer is kind of um the guy that the boosters wanted. Um, I think that Dillingham is looked at as right on par with DeBoer. I think really so the reason that there seemed to be almost like an overnight pivot um, from DeBoer to Dillingham is simply timing. Uh, Alabama is in the playoffs. They are playing next weekend Oklahoma. That is a winnable game for them. So I don't think that Kalen DeBoer is leaving Alabama as long as they're in the playoffs. And I think that there's a sense among the boosters and whatnot that Dillingham, if we can get Dillingham secured now versus waiting on DeBoer, that's better for our situation. So I think that's why you've sort of seen a shift in the last 24 hours from DeBoer being the lead guy to it looking like Kenny Dillingham. And honestly, the more that I've really looked into Kenny Dillingham, the more he's become kind of my sort of favorite for the job. And again, if I could, I would pick Dan Lanning, but Dan Lanning being off the table, I really like Kenny Dillingham. And I did put up a poll on my X account at Kinetic615 on X earlier this morning. Still up, so you can still go vote on it if you want to. But at Kinetic615, and I listed Kalen DeBoer, Kenny Dillingham, Jed Fish, and Clark Lee, and asked people to put in a vote for their preferred head coaching replacement for Sherrone Moore. And currently it sits at with 44 votes, Kenny Dillingham at 47.7%, Kalen DeBoer at 43.2%, Jed Fish at 6.8%, and Clark Lee at 2.3%. So Kenny Dillingham is currently the leader by about 4.5 points over Kalen DeBoer among the fan base, that at least the ones that follow me on Twitter.
And now that we've kind of hit the near the end of this topic, I want to bring some people up to talk about this. Let's bring some people up. If you guys want to come up and talk about this, we can. I'm gonna throw the link in the chat if you want to come up and talk about the potential coaching hires, who your favorite potential coach might be for Michigan. Feel free to hit the link and come up. Like I would like to, like, me personally, I think you're right. I think it's gonna end up being Kenny Dillingham. The only way it's not Kenny Dillingham is if Alabama loses next week. And I think that he's DeBoer is right back in the conversation.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think anyone's out on DeBoer. I think it's just a timing thing.
Right.
I don't think anybody is out on DeBoer at all.
Like, me personally, I don't think we can wait until next week to announce a hire. I think we need one like ASAP. Otherwise, because we're gonna start bleeding recruits here soon if we don't have an announcement. I mean, that's just my opinion. I don't know if that's for sure true, but I mean, there's a good chance of it. I mean, if we don't have leadership, these kids are going to see Michigan as being unstable and want to go to a more stable program, which I get that. But I'm hoping that we have an announcement within the next couple days. Hopefully by, I want to say, Wednesday. I think we should have an announcement.
Yeah, and I mean the thing is that there's obvious interest with Michigan from both Kalen DeBoer and Kenny Dillingham's side. sides. I just again I think it comes down to timing and the fact that Kalen DeBoer is currently in the playoffs. If they were out of the playoffs tomorrow, I think it would be neck and neck.
Right. Yeah. But with them not being out of the playoffs until next week,
That
it's
is
going to be hard.
interesting. And where did you see that at, Joey? Dillingham canceled practices today and said it was meetings instead. That's something he would do if he was meeting with the team to let him know that he's going to take the job.
Well,
So I haven't seen that report myself, but if that's the case, then that could speak volumes.
yeah.
And I will point out, shout out to Underwood Unleashed on X, who has posted and been following that there are currently a whole lot of Michigan players and coaches that are suddenly following Kenny Dillingham on X, many of whom were never recruited by him previously.
Okay, so it was PHNX Sports Pod?
Phoenix Sports Pod.
Phoenix Sports Pod. I don't know why I spelt that whole thing out. Keegan says some of it's probably fake news on X.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of fake news.
There's a lot of
that,
it. Like
that Aguda account that everyone keeps sharing on social media that said that Kalen DeBoer was a done deal. That is a parody account.
Yeah, our fan base really needs to slow down with the transfer scares. I agree. Like
yes and no. There 100% are players that are talking about transfer portal internally.
Yeah. But I think this is honestly a good chance for Bryce to show his leadership skills and keep the team together. Like if Bryce isn't even considering transferring, then he should be the voice of reason to the troops to convince them that, hey, we should wait and see who we're gonna get before we start talking to other schools. You know what I mean? Like we should see who we're looking at, what our who our next coach could potentially be, and what they're planning on doing before we start talking to other schools and making plans when the portal opens and whatnot. So I think this is a big opportunity for Bryce to show his leadership on the with the team and keep the troops together.
Yeah, I mean, and shout out to Bryce and to Biff Poggi as well. Both of them, from all accounts, are doing a lot of damage control and keeping the team unified.
Yeah.
Biff Poggi's another guy that I hope we retain with whoever comes in. I hope they retain him as the assistant to the head coach.
Not the assistant.
There's some pictures that
to the head coach.
There's some I don't know. I may have just said that wrong. There's some pictures that are circulating on X now.
That's an office joke. Those who watch The Office would get it.
So there's some pictures circulating on social media right now, of a team meeting today at Michigan, led by Biff Poggi, and Bryce Underwood is right there in the center, keeping, like, you can see from the pictures that he's like talking to the team, motivating them, keeping them together. So shout out to both of them.
Yeah, definitely. Like I want to see Bryce step up into that leadership role and retain and keep the class together. That's honestly what I would love to see. I think he's definitely the right person for the job to be able to do that.
Yeah, I agree. Again, guys, the link for StreamYard is in the chat. If anybody in the chat wants to come on and give your thoughts and opinions, or just conversate with us about the head coaching job, click the link and you can come up. You don't need to have your camera on. All I ask is that you be respectful. You can do it from your phone or computer. Just click the link and you can come up and talk with us. But yeah, I mean, I do think it's Kenny Dillingham. I think he's going to be the hire. I like Kalen DeBoer for a lot of reasons. I just think it comes down to timing. And but I do think it's going to be Kenny Dillingham. And Kenny Dillingham is 35 years old. He's shown to be so far. Now he does only have a couple years of head coaching experience, but he's been very good. I mean, dude, he put Cam Skedabo from a D2 school, brought him in, made him an NFL running back.
And I mean, if he can, I mean, Now the only downside is they did end up losing Cam, but that's kind of on Cam himself for how he plays the game. But I mean, if he can do that
Right,
with
but
Cam,
Dillingham
I
came
mean,
into Arizona State, identified Scadaboo, brought him in,
yeah,
and then developed him up to get him to the NFL. Which I don't believe he had NFL prospects prior
Shut y'all
to
asses up in
ASU.
here.
What up, Marmar?
we got Marmar
What
in
up, though?
the chat.
Not too much, man.
What y'all doing, man?
We're just
Talking
talking coaching.
potential coaches.
Hey, listen. So let me hit y'all with this real quick. Why people think Kalen DeBoer ain't coming to Michigan? That's the question. So, because I'm gonna hit you with this. His wife from Grand Rapids. He has Ypsilanti ties. His wife family is in Ypsilanti. One of their coaches is from Detroit, Michigan. Then Courtney Morgan, the general manager, he also graduated from the University of Michigan.
Yep.
Let's all have a welcoming reunion with these folks. Um, and yeah, man, I just think that's the play. I know everybody wants Dillingham, but the last coach we had come from Arizona State was Mahler. We don't want to go through that because he was an alcoholic, and we don't want no more scandals. Michigan is a high pressure job, and I'm not throwing shade because I have seen, so I'm not only gonna comment on the Sherrone more. I think he'll bounce back. I know he'll bounce back because that's the type of man he is. He'll be hearing for Sherrone more in the near future, but right now he needs to, sit, reflect, change it.
I don't think we're gonna hear from him for the next I think 3 to 5.
Nah, he ain't. Listen,
He ain't going to
listen.
jail.
What? Hey, yeah, listen. I'm telling y'all the story. You need to hear his side of the story first before you make judgment.
Right.
You gotta hear his side of the story because it takes two to tango. These are two adults. Just like anything in the world, it takes two to tango. That's it.
I was more talking about like the results of the aftermath.
Well, but here's the thing. And again, guys, I just
But
want to
no,
caution
but
everybody.
I like I said, that home invasion gonna get dropped down. It's gonna be negotiations. They always get plea deals.
Right.
It ain't gonna be too much. That felony gonna be dropped to a misdemeanor. He gonna plead out to all them misdemeanors and he move on from that.
Well,
Okay, and then when he
I just want to remind everybody, and you're doing fine. This isn't an admonishment. Mental health is a thing. Okay.
Yep.
Every one of us has had crash outs over something. I've crashed out over an ex-girlfriend when I was younger. Stuff happens. Okay, guys. Yes, it was bad. Yes, what he did was a horrible decision. But keep the commentary respectful because again, mental health is a thing, and also he has 3 daughters and a wife that could potentially see these things. Let's be respectful and not be out of pocket with how we talk about him.
Yeah, and like I said, he'll fix it. I believe he'll fix it. And yep.
Now, the thing with so to your point, Marmar, I do okay. I was very much pro Kalen DeBoer, and I still am. I think he'd be a great hire. The more that I've looked into Kenny Dillingham, I do sort of view him on the same level as Kalen DeBoer. He has a few less years of experience as a head coach, but he's also younger. He's going to be able to connect with the team. I think he's 35 years old. He was a OC at Oregon under Mario Cristobal. He was able to turn around Arizona State from a 3-9 team to what we saw in 2023, going to the playoffs, bringing in Cam Scadaboo, Sam Levitt. And, I mean, he turned a Michigan State quarterback into one of the best quarterbacks in the country. I mean, that's a feat in and of itself.
Okay, but
he's a proven QB developer. Well, he's a proven QB developer. He's worked with Justin Herbert, Sam Levitt, Bo Nix. He's worked with all of them.
Yeah, and don't get it twisted. Like when we're looking at our tier sheets for who we want as the next Michigan head coach, DeBoer is at the top, and then right underneath is Kenny.
That's the main choice. That's the first. That's the first choice. Trust and believe me.
It is.
I can't talk about it right now. But I have a lot of it's a lot of good in him. Yep.
Well, I
So
mean, but
do
here's the thing, though, Mama.
so has DeBoer though.
Yeah, so here's the thing. If all things were equal, I think DeBoer would be the main guy, and we would make him say no before we hired Dillingham.
Yep.
But I do think the hire is going to be Dillingham because of timing. Dillingham is available right now. Kalen DeBoer is not available until at least minimum next Saturday, over a week from now. And that's if they lose to Oklahoma, which
When
is Mateer playing? Who knows? Because there's been some reports, I don't know how credible, that he's not playing. If Mateer plays, then Alabama could lose. But if Mateer doesn't play, that's a W for Alabama, and that's going to be 2 weeks minimum before we could talk to DeBoer. And
But
things
DeBoer
that
has
I'm
already
hearing,
been talked to.
right? But the things that I'm hearing from people around and close to the program are that they would rather go with Dillingham if we can get him locked in now and like get our process rolling, rather than wait and then maybe get DeBoer but maybe miss on him.
right?
That's not.
And
I understand. I respect everything, but this has already been in. This been going on for a minute with DeBoer.
right, yeah. I mean, I know
agree.
they've been talking back and forth with DeBoer about potentially bringing him on, especially when I'm assuming they were talking to him even before they fired
Well,
DeBoer.
so I've
Yeah,
got a theory on this, and I want to be clear. I'm gonna explain this to you guys, but I want to be very clear. Speculation. I have nothing saying that this is actually what happened. So this is all just a theory that I personally have. Okay.
Yep.
There are reports that this whole thing started to sort of gain traction with Michigan, with the investigation into Sherrone Moore back around the Wisconsin USC week, right?
Yeah.
Right? Okay, hold on. So you guys know that I do during the season, I do the Saturday morning show on the Final Whistle Network with Lucian and Mike.
Yep.
Lucian is a Bama guy. There are people over on that show that are really tapped into Alabama and the school, like the team and everything, right?
Yep.
There were off-camera conversations and some on camera that I had over a month ago about that there were rumors of Kalen DeBoer's agent talking to other teams on back channels about potential job openings at the after the season, and everyone just assumed that it was going to be Penn State, Florida, those type of schools, right? But then nothing ever came of those schools. Like there was never any actual like big time smoke around that. So my suspicion or theory here, again, 100% speculation.
No.
Those timelines match up. Those timelines match up when, so like, could it have been Ward Manuel was, hey, what's your interest in the job if this goes the way that it might go? Back channeling with DeBoer's agent, and the Penn State rumors were smokescreen.
So here's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that if Alabama didn't make the playoffs, I think them making the playoffs was a surprise to everybody, including Bama. So I think if they didn't make the playoffs,
good point, Rich.
I think if they didn't make the playoff, DeBoer's in right now. He's already
100%.
sitting at Michigan. But
100%.
I think the fact that they made the playoff kind of threw a wrench in that whole plan, which has them scrambling. Because of the fact that they made the playoff on accident.
And then if I can channel my my inner Dom, shout out to Dom. Do you think that there's a possibility that the SEC put Bama in the playoffs intentionally to delay him being a candidate for a head coaching job?
Yes.
Shout out to Dom.
Yes.
Now Dom, Dom's not here. Marski, my bad. Mar, we've talked. We've kind of given.
I don't even know if Dom watches the show.
Hey, Kinetic.
He does
off screen. Call me, man, because I got to tell you the thing about DeBoer.
I got you.
So Mar, we've talked about. We've gone over. I don't know how long you've been watching today, but earlier we went over like what our fantasy pick would be, like if we had our choice of like any head coach from like the NFL or that were available in college, like what one we would pick. I chose Tomlin. I think Kinetic. Who did you choose again?
The NFL picks.
Yeah.
So I mean, total homer pick again. Brian Flores. I am a huge fan of Wink and his defensive system. I am a huge fan of Brian Flores and his defensive system. I like blitz heavy schemes. I like exotic packages. Brian Flores' defensive scheme, for anyone that hasn't watched the NFL, watched the Minnesota Vikings, they have a very fun defense. Andrew Van Ginkel picking off screen passes for pick sixes left and right. Our guy Josh Metellus, former Wolverine, playing for the Vikings, took snaps at 9 out of 11 different positions on the Vikings defense last year. Like, Brian Flores' defense is so much fun to watch, and it's very similar to the defense we've run at Michigan for the last
Kinetic's NFL pick would be Brian Flores. Mine's Mike Tomlin.
Well, and again,
Marmar.
The timeline fits because he's in that lawsuit with the NFL, and they won't give him a head coaching job as long as he's suing the NFL. So he could come here on a 3 to 5 year contract, right the ship, get us going, and then 3 to 5 years from now, pass it off to the next guy if we were to go that route.
Right. So Marmar, who would your NFL head coach to Michigan be? If we could grab one?
Dan Campbell.
Okay.
I'm with you there.
Like, I'm just talking shit.
Would you want Dan Campbell? Because then the Lions no longer have Dan Campbell.
I would honestly, if Michigan got Dan Campbell, I would just stop watching the Lions. I literally watch the Lions for Dan Campbell.
Hey, listen, if Dan Campbell came to Michigan, John Harbaugh goes to Detroit.
Oh, that would be crazy.
Now listen, so to some of the comments here, Jason Candle, I don't like him as a head coach for us because I don't think we need to. I think we need someone with a more proven track record at a higher level. But Jason Candle as offensive coordinator, if we don't retain Chip, all for that.
Yeah, I think Marcus Freeman would be a decent pick too.
Marcus Freeman is NFL or Notre Dame. If he's not leaving for the NFL, he's going back to Notre Dame.
Right.
Kyle Whittingham, I believe he just did he just leave? Did he just exit Utah? I'm not 100% sure. I wouldn't hate.
Oh yeah, I think so. I remember hearing something about that. Yeah, I think you did. And to be clear, people in the chat, we're not talking about realistic picks here. We know it's going to be one of like the 4 that we mentioned earlier. This is just like a fantasy pick.
Hey, do y'all ever listen to John U. Bacon?
Sometimes.
That's the main source. Hey, listen, that's the main source of Michigan.
I thought it was Maze.
But right.
Who?
I thought it was Maze.
No, I'm saying I understand that they were following this man, but listen to John U. Bacon. John U. Bacon has been around this whole time, and nobody's listening to John U. Bacon. Listen to John U. Bacon.
Yeah, I don't hate that. Like I said, have y'all
heard what John U. Bacon been talking about?
Yeah, but I'm saying, listen, if all things were equal, I think that DeBoer would be the top of the list. But I can see them saying we don't want to wait.
There's only 2 people that they are looking at right now.
Well,
that's the one you said, Dillingham, and then DeBoer. But DeBoer is the first choice. He has till next week before the playoff game to decide.
See, I'm willing to bet. So I have seen credible sources that there were some boosters that were holding out to wait for DeBoer to say no before going to Dillingham, but that has since changed. That they have been persuaded that it is better if Dillingham is willing to go right now to not wait, because they don't want to they don't want to pass on Dillingham now and have him change his mind and then waiting for DeBoer, and then DeBoer wins the game next week, then we have to wait another week, and then loses the week after or whatever, and then may or may not come to Michigan at that point, because then we fall back to Jed Fish, which no slight to Jed Fish. I think you're right. It's those 2 guys or Jed Fish, because I think Jed Fish is the floor. He is the fallback.
Yeah, because he'll say yes. Because we know that he'll say yes.
But there was I actually was I started getting messages and some
Hey, but the
information
boosters
like
don't make the
overnight.
choice.
You'd be
Board
surprised.
of Regent, the Board of Regent. I understand that, but they got to still go through the Board of Regent and Ward Manual.
Yeah.
But I started getting a lot of feedback that there was a pivot from DeBoer as the top guy to Dillingham as the top guy. I want to say it was like super early this morning. It was like 4 a.m. And I even texted a few people and let them know about it early this morning. And I think that that's really played out for anyone that's been paying attention over the course of today.
So I got a question. So if we pick up Dillingham, do we switch the beer sponsor of the Big House to Bud Light because Dilly?
Bro, that's the other thing. Like, that is such a fun thing to be able to say, Coach Dilly. We're gonna have a field day with that over the next.
Like, does our official Big House beer sponsor become Bud Light if we pick up Dillingham?
Real quick to this comment, Ken, this is not true. Could Michigan pay more than the NFL? Yes, and I was actually going to make this point earlier with Minter. If we wanted Minter, we would have to overpay. We would literally have to financially beat an offer from the NFL. It's not the same as when Jim Harbaugh was willing to stay here for, I think it was $12 million or $13 million, even though he had an offer from the Chargers for $17.5 million, I think.
We'd be putting
for
out
Minter
20
because
plus.
he's up for all these head coaching jobs in the NFL. We would need to overpay. We would need to outbid an NFL team, and I just don't think that we need to do that right now.
I think minimum.
But we're not going to.
I think minimum we'd end up paying $20 million to get Minter.
Yeah. So Keegan, something did change overnight. There was a pivot from DeBoer to Dillingham as the top guy overnight.
But I think it's going to come down to whoever says yes first.
I agree. If DeBoer was willing to say yes right now, it would be DeBoer. But I don't think that DeBoer is going to say yes as long as his team is in the playoffs. And I'm getting the feel that the board is not. They're willing to take Dillingham now rather than wait for DeBoer.
Marcus Freeman is Notre Dame, not OSU.
Marcus Freeman played at OSU.
Well, yeah.
And he coached. He was an assistant coach under Urban Meyer, I think.
I think so. But I think money talks regardless. If we really wanted Freeman, we'd go get Freeman. But I don't think we really want Freeman.
So point to what Marmar said in the chat. DeBoer's daughter plays softball. If he came here, she would likely transfer to Michigan to play softball. And
that's what I was. Well, my source said that's what happened, and then my source said it's already in writing. Yeah, it's already been in writing with the board. It's already, all he has to do is say yes.
Well, it's not in writing. It's been there. There have been conversations between Michigan and his agent, and then him and his agent. There have not, to my knowledge, been direct conversations from Michigan to DeBoer because he's still active in the playoffs.
Me personally,
I'm about to send you something, Connecticut, to tell you otherwise.
So there have been direct conversations from Michigan to Dillingham.
So me personally, Mark, I like DeBoer over Dilly, but I think either of them are a fantastic choice when you really get down to it. They both work.
Yeah, I do think that Clark Lee at Vanderbilt, we've talked about him. I do think he's the fourth guy on the list. I put Kalen DeBoer and Kenny Dillingham, and then down here the next tier is going to be Jed Fish and Clark Lee. But because of Jed Fish's history with Michigan, I think we go to him over Clark Lee, and Jed Fish isn't turning the job down.
Absolutely.
I do. Back to this one, I do. If you had asked me yesterday, I would have said DeBoer. I have concerns about DeBoer. His run game was never super strong. His defense was never super strong. So
that's why you keep Tony Alford.
That I was about to say. So if we get DeBoer, I am very adamant that he needs to retain Tony Alford.
He is going to retain him,
and he needs to retain as many of the defensive staff as possible. I don't really care about BJM, but like the rest of the defensive staff needs to be retained.
We can definitely get rid of Wings,
no, we can't. I am less adamant about that with Dillingham than I am with DeBoer.
I don't think PJ Fleck is an actual option.
PJ Fleck's not a bad coach, but I don't think he's the guy.
Yeah. This is a funny comment. I heard Kirk Wilson says I heard Rich Rod wanted a second chance to coach Michigan. This is a hard pass for me. Anyone know if there's any truth to this? Regardless of if there was any truth or not, it's a hard pass from the entire fan base. We don't want Rich Rod. He can stay. He can stay gone.
Yeah, so to keeping Alford, I do like Alford as a recruiter and as a run game coordinator. I do have one reservation on Alford. Trying to think how to word this. I'm not super high on his handling of the personnel and the rotation. The things that he says to people don't always reflect what he actually does. I have that reservation about Alford, but I do like to keep. I do think that we should keep him.
Here, hold it down for a second. I gotta go take care of something real quick. I'll be right back.
Yeah, no, you're good. Yeah, I mean, listen, I like Alford. I think that we retain Alford. My one, and it is a nitpick, Bees and Treats. It is definitely a nitpick, but I don't really there I have reservations about things that I've been made privy to with his talent management. I'm not necessarily talking about snaps. I'm not necessarily talking about the load management between Haynes and Marshall. I think that was fine. I'm more talking about just like the way he sort of plays politics with the players. I'm not saying he's not the best running back coach. I like Alford. I like him a lot. I actually got to meet him. I want to say it was not this last spring game, but the spring game right after he was hired. I like him and I want to retain him. I just have that one issue.
I mean, I definitely think that we should keep Alford,
Yes.
For sure. I'd be all right if we end up losing Wink because I mean I'm very outspoken on the fact I don't like Wink, but we definitely need to keep Alford. I think he's too good of a addition to the team to really let him go. So whoever we bring in, whether it be DeBoer or Dilly, we need to make sure they need to make sure they retain Alford. They definitely we can't lose him. He's too good.
What do you mean, damn Kinetics back? This is my channel with Lichmax.
Yeah, well,
what do you mean?
Depends on what channel they're watching it from because you have it going live on your channel too.
Yeah, I know, but why damn? Like, why is that? Why am I a bad?
So also, by the way, real quick, I guess let's talk about this. If you're watching on either the Gamer Sideline, my X account, or over on the Kinetic Sideline or Kinetic Sideline, we should actually change your channel name to that because it's basically just Sideline with Kinetic. But make sure that you hit that like the video. And if you haven't subscribed, hit that subscribe button because every subscription helps us get closer to getting monetized. And once we get monetized, we can do this much better with much better production quality and hopefully be able to do better videos for you guys and put more videos out for you guys. But also in the description, you'll find a link to there's a couple links in there for the different channels. On one of those at the very bottom, the last link is going to be a link to hit Kinetics GoFundMe. If you guys could take a look at that, shoot him some help because he definitely needs it right now. He's waiting for some stuff to come through. Once it does, he'll be good. But for right now, if you guys can give if you can. There's the QR code as well that goes to the same thing. That's his GoFundMe QR code. So
since you guys brought up, let me just give a quick.
If you guys can help, feel free. If you guys can help, please do. If you can't help, spreading awareness is helping, so that helps too.
A lot of people that watch these shows in the Michigan sphere are aware of my GoFundMe campaign. The struggles that I'm dealing with looking at multiple surgeries over the next 5 to 7 years to get cleared to work again. And then to help my mother with her cancer treatments and stuff. She's got stomach and lung cancer. Not going to spend too much time on it. Many of you know it. If you go to the QR code, it's very explained out in there. I try not to promote it because I don't want it to. I don't want to ask for more money than I need to just get by and keep the lights on, keep gas in our cars, keep food on the table. Because I'm currently trying to get disability. Had the government not had the government shut down, I would have had my arbitration date this month to be able to get my disability. Because of the arbitration date, that got pushed back. So where I thought I had enough money saved up to get me to this month to get my disability, now I'm looking at needing to get through the next 3 to 4 months as well because we got pushed back because the government shut down. So any amount helps. Things are getting really tight, and I'm not going to lie, I've been stressed out a lot lately. Any amount helps. I don't care if it's $1, $10. And if you can't donate, even just sharing the link out on social media, getting it seen by more people helps. I would not ask or expect anybody to give anything more than they can afford safely. But any help is appreciated for myself and my mother.
All right. So here's one. I don't think Bryce will have to pay anything back.
There's no buyout or repayment thing in Bryce's contract.
Yep. Which is not good for Michigan, but hopefully we don't have to test that theory. Because definitely don't want to lose Bryce. I think he's one of the a key member on the offense, and we need to hang on to him because we really don't have anyone to take over for him. I mean, we have Jaden Davis. He's all right, but he's not. I don't think he's ready for the limelight yet.
No, and Ripstar says that there's deep convo with Kenny Dillingham, and then Matt says that he's already told him. So supposedly there was a canceled practice and meeting with the team at ASU today. Don't know what was said there, but it actually could be. Could mean that that he was telling the team that he's accepting the job. It's possible. Little Hot Dog Pizza, appreciate that. Thank you. I try not to over promote it because I don't want it to ever come off as like I'm trying to like grift on other people. Like I'm just trying to get to my disability. I don't want more than I need. I just want to keep bills on for myself and my mother. I just want to be able to continue getting us to my physical therapy and my treatments and her cancer treatments. Any amount helps. And I understand everybody has their own stuff that they're dealing with, especially around the holidays. So I'd stopped promoting it for a few months because I thought I had enough to get me to my arbitration date, which I would have if the government shutdown hadn't happened. It would have been this month, but now I'm kind of screwed.
Right. And we also don't want it to overshoot the video, Right. So like we still want to try to get get what we're talking about over without that being the main point.
Yeah. So I mean, and that's why I say I'm not gonna keep talking about it on here. But you guys are more than welcome to hit me up on X or on Discord at Kinetic615 on both. I'm happy to be transparent about what I'm going through. I feel like it's only fair if I'm asking for help from people that I'm willing to answer any questions honestly about what's going on and what I'm going through, what the money's used for, stuff like that. So if you have questions about it, feel free to hit me up. It is pinned at the top of my X profile as well.
Yeah. That is a good question, Kirk Wilson. I'm not entirely sure. The only thing that I can really think of is if whoever we bring in doesn't retain Wink, I think they bring their own DC with them.
So there's two ways that they could go about it. If Wink decides not to stay or they don't retain him, the succession plan, I believe, to the best of my knowledge, was always that Lamar Morgan was going to be the understudy to Wink. Yeah. So when Harbaugh and Minter left, Minter was the one that nominated and suggested Lamar Morgan to Sherrone as the replacement for DC. However, they determined that he didn't have enough experience to be the DC yet, and so they brought in Wink. Wink was always going to be a 2 to 4 year hire, and the idea was that Lamar Morgan would be the heir apparent to keep the continuity with the system. Now, since then, Lou Esposito has also been a stellar standout defensive position coach. So there has been some conversation about whether if Wink was to leave today, would it be Morgan? Would it be Esposito? I think either one would be strong. So if we were to lose Wink but wanted to keep the same system, either of those two guys would be good options. But then there's always the potential that the new head coach is going to want to bring in his own defensive system.
Right. And there have been talks that Bryce wants DeBoer. I believe on Bryce's page, he's also said he'd be happy with Dillingham as well. So that's good to hear. I believe, if I remember correctly, at the start we said that Bryce and Marsh and a lot of the other players have started following Dillingham.
Yeah, so
on X.
There are a bunch of Michigan players and actually some of the Michigan position coaches as well, that if you were to go over to Kenny Dillingham's X profile and look at who follows him, you'll see a lot of current players and coaches following him, most of whom did not get recruited by him previously. So, if there had been a player that had been recruited by him prior to committing to Michigan, that's one thing. But Bryce, Marsh, Jaden Davis, none of them were recruited by Kenny Dillingham, and they're following him. Ron Bellamy is also following him. So there's a little bit of smoke there. Again, separate from that, I have been told from somebody that I trust that Bryce is on board with Dillingham, DeBoer, or Fish.
Yep, which I'm not a huge fan of Fish. I think he definitely shouldn't be like a top 3 call. If I had I think the list has been established. Like for us, it's DeBoer, Dillingham, Lee, and then Fish in that order. Like obviously go after DeBoer, Dillingham, and then if those two don't agree, then you start looking at Lee and Fish.
To this comment, so listen, I'm not going to say I don't care. I like Bryce. I think that he is the centerpiece of the team. But listen, Tommy Carr was elevated to a 4-star right before early signing day. Smigel would have been a 4-star if not for his injury. We've got Peter Bork coming in behind them. We're pursuing Donald Tabron. If Bryce leaves, Bryce leaves. To Kirk's question here, I don't think Bryce is leaving, but I'm not going to say it's a sure thing that he's staying.
Right.
Everything is promising. So I've been told by somebody that I trust that Bryce has said that, or his family have said that Bryce is on board with Dillingham, DeBoer, or Fish, and I don't think I think the coach is going to be one of those 3. Bryce has also been very center stage with the team, unifying them, keeping them together, keeping them tight since the news of Sherrone Moore's firing. That said, I can 100% confirm that multiple schools have already reached out trying to entice Bryce into the portal. So, and big name schools with NIL backing. So I cannot say for sure that Bryce is not leaving, but based on what I've seen, I don't expect Bryce to leave.
And I could be wrong, but I think this situation kind of overrides that.
There you go. There you go, Lich Max.
No, I believe that the this situation kind of overrides that stipulation in Bryce's contract, though, where if he doesn't play 2 years, he has to pay the $2 million back.
I mean, it's possible, but I've not seen any credible reports on that. I know there's no buyout, so I don't know.
Right.
Okay, so interesting question here. If Bryce were to leave, would we take Levitt? Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I think 2 things can be true at once. One of the driving factors of Dillingham potentially taking the job at Michigan is the lack of resources at Arizona State, because it has been very public how he's had to campaign and really campaign with local businesses even for NIL. However, I've also seen reports that Sam Levitt leaving the team was not NIL driven. If that's the case, then I'm not confident that there wasn't some kind of fallout between the coaching staff and Levitt. Does that mean he wouldn't follow Dillingham? I don't know.
I don't think Levitt is better than Bryce next season.
No, not at all. And so again, to what I've been told, Underwood would prefer DeBoer over Fish or Dillingham.
Yeah.
But he's okay with all three of them. Yeah, so Michigan can pay buyouts. Michigan can outbid anybody. I do think if for some reason we did fall through on those three and we had to pivot to Clark Lee, I do think there's a chance that we could get into a bidding war with Vanderbilt because Vanderbilt has every bit of resources that we do. Plus, they have motivation to stop being the laughing stock of the SEC.
They could come to the Big Ten. We'd welcome.
But I agree. If Michigan wants you, you're not going to turn it down because of money. That's true, Keegan. But I think that both. I think you can serve both masters in this.
Yeah, because I think DeBoer or Dillingham would both essentially solve both of those issues. It would retain players, and they would be the right coach for the job.
Yeah, and see, so this right here is why I believe that there's been a sort of a pivot from let DeBoer say no first before we move on to anyone else to if Dillingham is willing to take the job now, we take him. And it's because of this.
Yeah, because I think if we don't have an announcement by next Wednesday, I think we start shedding players out of this class. I think that's just kind of what we're looking at. We're going to start shedding players soon if we don't have an announcement. We already lost 2, and I think it's just going to get worse as the days go on without an announced head coach.
So we lost 2. Yeah, we lost Ludwig and McWhirter. Although technically, McWhirter could still recommit. Ludwig has already committed to Texas Tech.
Right.
But I don't. Okay, so I think the two decommitments are 2 different things. If McWhirter is really not coming to Michigan, Alabama would be his pivot, I think.
But if we get DeBoer, then he comes back.
Right. I don't think he's going to commit, and I may be wrong, but I don't think he's going to decommit and then commit before we get the next coach because I don't think he wants to commit to Bama just for DeBoer to leave to go to Michigan.
Right. So if he doesn't commit before next week and before the playoff game, then I think that there's a good chance we could get him back.
Potentially. But to Ripstar's comment in the chat, yes. But they changed that rule. Not that one. They changed that rule. It's no longer a 30-day window starting when a coach leaves. It's a 30-day window that opens up after the replacement coach is hired.
Oh, you mean this one? That was Kurt.
Yeah. So for example, Michigan's 30-day window doesn't open until we hire a replacement.
It's 15.
No. 2 different things. The new portal window is 15 days. That starts in January. There is a separate rule that if your head coach is fired or leaves for another job, that there opens up a 30-day window where players can then declare to transfer. That is separate from the 15-day window.
Doesn't that start after we hire the new coach, though?
Right. So prior to this year, it would start, I think, within a day or 2 of the coach leaving your school.
Yeah.
You had 30 days to jump in the portal. The rule has since been changed that the 30-day window opens when your school hires the replacement head coach.
So that would mean that if we hire one soon, they would technically have 45 days to transfer.
Depending on the timing, yes.
Because you'd have the 30-day plus the 15-day.
Correct.
Well, actually, no.
But it's a good change to the rule because sometimes what you would have happen is a coach would leave and the players some of the players would want to wait and see who gets hired before making a decision.
Right.
But they would feel pressure to enter now because the window might close, or they might only have a small allotment of time between the new head coach and the window closing.
Right.
Now they can wait for the new head coach and make a decision and have the full window.
Right. I think that's going to be our time for today, though. We didn't get to everything, but we had a nice conversation about the potential head coaches. I guess before we get out of here, Kinetic, tell the people where they can find you, what you got going on.
Yeah, so as I mentioned earlier, guys, you can find me on any social media platform, on YouTube at Kinetic615, everywhere. So X, Discord, Instagram, PlayStation, whatever, at Kinetic615. You can find me here on the Gamer Sideline with our weekly shows. You can find me doing some sports opinion videos and watch-alongs for Michigan and Minnesota's games on Kinetic615. I've got my gaming channel, which is Kinetic615 Plays. And yeah, just if you get a chance, check out the GoFundMe and feel free to message me if you have any questions.
Yep, and as for me, you can find me everywhere at LichMax626. If you can't find me there, I'm probably not there. But if you want me there, just send me a message on X, and I might make an account there. But also, you can find me over at the Maze Madman channel for Maze Out Mondays, where I am the producer / I host the Lich Picks segments, which we probably won't be doing for a while, but we'll see. Also, you can find me right here at the Gamer Sideline for our weekly Football Friday shows on Fridays. We're also working on putting together a NFL show, which will go live Wednesdays or Thursdays. We're still working on the time frame for that. But without further ado, make sure that you like and subscribe, and always remember to cheer loud, play hard, and we'll catch you next time right here at the Sideline.
Go Blue.
From joystick dreams to Friday night lights, it's controllers and cleats under podcast mics with LifeMax driving deep like he's throwing a bomb, and Kinetic calling audible, staying calm in the storm. From the field to the sticks, yeah, we bring the heat. With Kinetic and LifeMax, never miss a beat. When the final whistle blows or the credits roll, we're signing off strong, that's how gamers take control. Catch us on the sideline, where legends chill, where the playbooks flip and the passion's real. If you heard the takes, then you know the drill. Till next time, fam, keep it clutch, keep it skill. From the field to the sticks, yeah, we bring the heat. With Kinetic and LichMax, never miss a beat. When the headset's off and the lights go low, we'll be back next game, y'all already know. We out.